And I want your revenge. You and me, done on a bad romance. Whoa, 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 whoa. I want your loving. I want your regret. You and me, a good bad romance. Whoa, 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 whoa. Do, do, do. Not a bad romance. Whoa, 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 whoa. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Ending tweet. I don't know why I'll respond to these because
Literally just can't. It just can't. Literally just can't. It just can't.
Yeah. Can't have that humidity. It's not good. It's not good. It's gonna mold. It's gonna mold. It's gonna mold. La 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 la. I want your room and I want you to whoa, 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 whoa. I want your loving. I want your repeat, you and then. It's not a bad romance. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not a bad romance. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ba-ba-doo-doo. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Da-da. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. 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 I want your loving, I want your revenge. You and me are gonna build romance. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. I want your loving, I want your revenge. You and me to the bad romance. Do 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 do. Oh. Do 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 do. Do 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 da 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 do 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 la 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 la. Okay. Boom. And you, what did you close? I opened it. That was a mistake. Oof, that was a mistake. Whew. Resume, 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 resume. And now we got the same old thoughts. I got 3 minutes to ruse this thought. And now I know a baked potato's a tot. It's a tater tot, not a hooker kind of tots. And hey, and ho, and hey, and ho, and hey, and ho, and hey, hey, ho, and hey, and ho, en hey, hey, ho. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 op de no zet. 11, 12. I want your loving, no, I want your regrets. Okay. Oh, I didn't do the one on the table, huh? 2 minutes. Good. Good. Ooh. Oh. Not enough storage. Shit. Chrome. Not enough storage. Okay. I don't know what to do. Don't know what to say. 57. Ugh, I don't have storage. Shit. Crown. Okay. You want to cooperate? That's okay. That's okay, Meng. Should have done this before because it's easier. I don't know you. So that's 16. That is 8. That is 142. You did upload it 142. Shit. Ugh. Okay. Good. So. Okay, good. 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 Okay. What you're gonna do is gonna do this. This, you know that this is done. No, this is not done. That's good. Okay, perfect. That's good. Okay. I want your loving, I want your regrets. You and me, the regrets. Whoa. So that's what that was day 293, part crown, part 4.5. That I have to do, and this I have to do. Good. I'm gonna clean the lens a little bit. Just to start, and there you go. Ready, set, go. Don't link is je boeing commentaar. We're doing well because having a wonderful day on this glorious day 294 of Project Vendetta. It is a beautiful Thursday today. So we woke up about 2 hours ago. We took a shower, watched some 24 hours and back from Gordon Ramsay, which is sort of like his L Kitchen without being else. It's kitchen nightmare without being kitchen nightmare. So yeah. Now I'm gonna do the video. I don't know how much I'm gonna take me. I got a lot of study to do, so it would be taking me a while. Sunset is nothing special, but I'm still gonna film it. So yeah, pretty much it. And we have the vampire. Sunset Day 294. Bit tired. I got the vampire thing, which is neck. I want your lovin'. I got the song in my head, which is paparazzi. No. I want your regret is bad romance. Same singer, different song. So how you guys doing on this Thursday? Today was a fantastic day. As I mentioned, I went to my father's house. I was tired, which kind of made me do the worst thing. Which is what the worst thing is, because I was tired. It took me so long to upload. It took me like an hour to upload like 12 videos. Good news though, everything uploaded, everything worked well. So we are in business to last, and that's good. So everything that I had, not as a fear, but everything that could have went wrong, went well, and that is the bonus. So Thursday today, as I wake up, I told you I did the. It's so weird because I do a behind the scene, but it's not a behind the scene. That's the real version, Just need to play a little bit games because got a busy. It doesn't work. I'm just gonna need to play games because we got a busy day. Today's gonna be a good day though. For example, yesterday I had the tournament. I had my father. I'm gonna puke because I forgot the muffin. I forgot the muffin on the balcony, and now there's moisture. No, okay. Well, moisture is not mold. I thought it was mold. Okay, there's moisture, so it doesn't feel too good to see, and that's what I'm afraid, because if I'm gonna eat up, it's gonna be disgusting. So we got a reward for Adult Plant Miner, which is great. Got some good stuff, which is great. And we want to do something. So today, plan is super simple. The plan is to do the same thing as yesterday. I think yesterday I worked a little bit less. First of all, the game was really good. The game that I was playing was really good, but I would have liked to stream. Also, what was dependent on it was that I watched a TikTok show, right? As I mentioned yesterday. For example, yesterday, TikTok show started at 9 and finished at, I want to say, at 4 o'clock in the morning. I think it's safe to say 4 o'clock, right? We're not watching it. I am recording it to watch it later on. Then I'm not listening to it. So we got a couple of, we have a couple of live to watch when we stream. That way I don't have to look for a video on the internet. I can actually watch a live, which is sort of similar to listen to a podcast. It's audio, right? There's only so much time you can see people battling without getting bored. You can listen to them the whole day arguing. It's kind of drama. Which reminds me of Dr. Phil, reminds me of Jerry Springer, Maurice Pavlik. I was gonna call him Jerry Pavlik, which is a nice little anachrome. Is that a word, anachrome? No, but you're gonna check it up, So at 4 o'clock, so I was like, okay, well, I cannot stream because I'm watching this. The reason why I cannot stream is yesterday, if it started at 9 and it finished at 4:30, that's 7 hours and a half. If I watch it at 1.5 times the speed, that is 4 hours, 20 minutes, or 5 hours, right? So I am making a lot more. And then, truthfully speaking, the goal was also to stream almost every single day. I'm saying almost every single day because if I set up myself for every day, as simple as it is, I'm setting up myself for failure. For example, tonight, I have to do the clips because I put my alarm clock to say, hey, do the clips. And it's really because I don't have that many to do. I got like half a page, but I still need to do them. That's gonna be important, right? So, I thought I was mentioning, that was pretty much it, to be honest. That was pretty much it. I was mentioning something else. What was I talking about? What was I talking about? Before that. Oh yeah, the streams. I'm so sorry. This is weird because I didn't sleep the best. I got a number of texts. My father texted me 3 times. My mom texted me 1. And I'm sleeping during the day, but I was waiting for a call because my mom was gonna set up the voicemail today, and Amazon. I called Amazon for the chair today. I'm like, they're not gonna call you in the middle of the night, right? But so I had to set up myself. And I wasn't talking about sleep. I wasn't talking about anything else. But I was talking about the schedule for streaming. If I say to myself, I'm gonna stream every single day, that's the best thing to do. It's the best mentality to adopt. This is the best mentality to focus on, because you're like, okay, well, you got a good work ethic, right? But you're also setting up yourself for failure. And the thing with streaming is I can do these every single day. So with the filming, what I'm finding myself, that's something I talked about before. You see the speed of the voice? Crazy. That's something I talked about before, right? So with the sunrise and sunset, because I want to film it, I'm kind of forced to do videos. I could be putting this and just film. We did it a couple of times. We did it, but I don't like being inside and streaming for this. So there's wind, the tripod can fall, and even if I'm outside, it might fall, but I'm closer, so I feel more secure. I don't have to worry, I don't have to constantly look if it's okay or not, So that's one. Two, because we have the weather, I'm like, dude, this is the perfect amount of time, right? So you guys see me every single day. We're filming around the time that the sun sets start, which sunset is about 3 minutes to 45 minutes to maybe an hour if you're lucky. Why an hour? Well, it's kind of cool because if you do an hour, you actually got the before sunset. So for example, there's a cloud, it's only white. Then you slowly start seeing the color change, and then you slowly start seeing the night. For example, tonight, the sunset is not that nice, right? So you have went from a blue sky to a sort of orange sky to a sort of purple sky to a dark sky, right? That takes like an hour. So you're putting yourself in a position where you're doing a minimum of 2 hours per day, but you're scheduled for it. I don't have a schedule for streaming, which is why we're having a problem. Now what I'm doing is I got this Beatster. We did all the clips, which is great. What I mean all the clips, I mean all of it together. Actually, we did a number yesterday. It was at I don't remember, but it was at a high number. It was at a high number. It was like very high. Very, very high. And oops, I'm about to die. I'm about to die. But that's kind of okay. It's the first thing of the day. See, this is insane, dude. Because you had success yesterday. You're doing the same thing yesterday. It doesn't work. I was talking about also the live. For example, yesterday I filmed for 5 hours, 1.5 times the speed. I can also do 2 times. It's a bit fast. The thing with 2 times is a perfect one, because you're gonna understand it, and when you're playing the stream, you're not like, hey, I'm boring, so listen to this. You're listening to a faster version, which is too fast, which means that the only thing that you can actually listen to is my voice, because I speak fast, which is again the old planning. Remember when do I ever mention that I speak fast? Okay, I mentioned it tonight. Why? And then I mentioned something about times 2. So because I speak a little bit slower, your anchor or your point of in French we say ton point de repère, which is basically your familiar zone, I guess, in French. In English, familiar zone is in my voice, because like you can actually understand what I'm saying if you're lucky. And even if you're not lucky and you don't hear what I'm saying, you're not missing much. Trust me. Yesterday was I'm gonna say miracle, but it's not a miracle. So it's nice knowing that you have more content than not. It's amazing. Like there's literally a time where it was a that's one example. Sorry about the burp. That's only one example. There was this guy who was Mew Zelda, right? I'm actually calling the name because he's a really good content creator. And he did some videos about like the Dark Lord. So he wanted to explore the Dark Lord of Zelda game, because Zelda game was presented to be super nice, super kind, super relaxed, super positive. But there's a lot of darkness to it. So when I talk about darkness, it's about like facing death. It's not as joyful. I could compare it to Lord of the Ring. Lord of the Ring that sets itself up to be Middle Earth, a peaceful realm, but then it's slowly becoming worse and worse, and it's slowly become more dangerous. I got a ingrown hair. It's slowly becoming more and more dangerous. And at first, like when you look at the movie, And again, I know I'm going to lose a lot of people here because it's not, sadly, not a common knowledge, right? Oh, it's not as common as it used to be. So in the first, when you start the trilogy, look at the crow. It would be nice if it would react. But hey, men can dream, and a man can sleep. I don't know what I was gonna say, but I thought it's pretending it was thoughtful. You guys know that Lord of the Rings. If you look at the trilogy, at first there's not a lot of things that's going on. There's a couple of orcs. There's a couple of. The only thing that really happened is they go to the mines of Moria, and even then, there's a mine, right? It's not like common knowledge. It's not like it's not like in the battlefield or in the middle of the road, right? And then you move on, and as you move on, the world is becoming more and more dangerous. Zelda kind of is like that, right? So just to say, the guy was looking at the dark or scary or sad lore of Zelda, and I found this video which was there's just oh shit, I thought I lost the button. No, we're just fat. There was this lore, and he was talking about this lore. It's actually super interesting, something I never even noticed. I haven't played the game in 20 years, but still. And when I say 20 years, I possibly mean 10, maybe 9, 10, I don't know. And I saw the video, I was like, wow, this is kind of fantastic. And I saw his channel because I was interested. And I saw the person had 6 videos. That was last spring. That was like last spring. So it was different. I was gonna say last fall, but no, that was last spring. So I was like, okay, well, you know what, this is cool, but I'm gonna be watching those videos today. So not that there's no use following the person or showing support and giving to the engagement, which is the algorithm, right? Because there's a goal. You want the person to be successful because they're talented, right? But I was still like, there's 6 videos, so I'm not gonna dive in the channel, right? Now another one, right? Which is Oshanks. Oshanks is a channel that specifies itself. There's a clear purpose, right? Which is a lot of explanation for so little results, but trust me. Oshanks is a channel where it is content about Elden Ring, content about the lore of Elden Ring. Yes, I had an era, I had a period of my life which was very recent, where I actually love video game. So what happened was I was streaming less. I was playing more of a game which is The Tower, which is sadly non-narrative. So I was looking for more narrative, and that person was uploading lore on Elden Ring. Now, I'm gonna be honest, lore of Elden Ring, something that I've watched a lot, is something that I paid attention to a lot. When you're doing 12-hour stream of Elden Ring, when you're doing 130 hours playthrough per year, and you know the game. So for example, the 4th playthrough was boring because I knew exactly what chest, I knew exactly what's gonna give me. So like, okay, well, you know the game too much, right? So I was looking at the lore just to be more interested, right? And then you realize that although the lore was fantastic, for example, this is my fault though. This is my fault. For example, you're going to a certain region. So a clever guy would do what? A clever guy would be looking at the lore from that region. You're going after a boss. A clever guy would go, what is the lore behind that boss, right? But I'm so afraid to regurgitate information that is not mine. I'm so afraid of intellectual theft. For example, this boss when he was younger did this and this and this, and then I go and I fight this boss and I tell the same story, did this and this and this, right? This morning we did also, yes, there's a intellectual property, which is this person that made the video for their lore, did the research. I didn't. I'm just gonna repeat what they're saying to be interesting, right? Also, this morning I did the video on what? I did 2 hours on truth, relativity of truth. Saying that, okay, well, you're seeing information and you're just repeating, and if it is misinformation, you're taking part in the propagation of misinformation, which is not cool. Of course, if it's a mistake, it's a mistake, but if you do it on purpose, like, hey, our product's the best. Criminal. Our product is the best. Our product will cure you from this disease. Criminal, right? It's not allowed. Because what? It's false marketing, right? So, there's rules to protect the customer. There's more rules to protect the I don't know if there's more rules to protect the consumer than the factory or the company, but I know there's some rules for the consumer, right? And I was talking about that also. What if I was watching a lore video and that lore video was dealing in sensationalism, which is saying bullshit to be more interesting, to get the view, to get the algorithm, to get the followers, to get the paycheck, which is not true, right? Then what I do, I repeat something that is not true. So I have to watch a lore video, but I have to research to see if it's true. So basically, I'm doing this boss, which takes me 20 minutes, but I'm watching 20 minutes lore video. So this doesn't make any sense. It's counterproductive, right? So, oops, I made a mistake. I made a mistake and I pressed the wrong button. I exit the application. I didn't mean to. I swear I didn't mean. It's not a big deal after all. If you believe I did it on purpose, then you're crazier than Cyrus. Or you're cool just like Mr. Black. Bam bam badam bam badam bam badam bam. I went to Hogwarts, I wanted to be Gryffindor. I was a full puff after all. Not my favorite houses, but I had some cool friends. It wasn't so bad after all. Legends of trolls and three-headed dog. That's what happened in my first year. Second year, the Chamber of Secrets was open for all the secrets. And after we had the mentors, and then was fourth year, we had a competition. A Death Eater was a teacher. Malfoy is a dick, yes. It's not really his fault. It's the fault of his upbringing. Oh, Slytherin believe in elitism. It is sort of like another Reich. Or Slytherin believe in purity. If you ask me, I prefer tea or a butter beer with my friends. And then we have the fifth one. So then it was fifth year, there was an order. I wasn't invited at all. They had some classes taught by Potter to learn the defense at the Dark Arch. But then I spy and I notice that Chow is kinda cute. And then I spy and then I notice that Neville is kind of cool. And I didn't know that at all. But then there was 6th year. Rogue was a cool guy. I would have guessed it after all. Who guessed that the mean guy was sort of a sweet guy? He was a half-blood after all. And then there was 7 years. Harry was even in the school. So why'd you build the school after all, if you're not using it at all? Kind of a weird selective choice. Actually, my remix of Perfect Psalm 41, but it's not Psalm 41, it's Awkward 41. Yeah, I would be copyrighted, but after that, there's a liberty of speech, right? So all of this to say, what? All of this to say, I forgot. We're talking about apples and bees. We're talking about milk and honey. We're talking about Cersei, incest. For some reason, we're talking about a lot of Cersei and incest. I'm not sure as to why. Not sure. Oh, I remember. Okay, cool. So you're doing a stream, right? And you're watching the lore. But when you're doing a stream, you basically have to have. So when you do a stream, I'm gonna have like the first 20 minutes, an hour, just me talking, right? But if I'm doing a stream which is 20 minutes or an hour or 2 hours, I'm not gonna do an hour just talking, right? So you have something in the background. Yesterday, I was lucky because I got 5 hours. I was saying that I was feeling blessed, but it's not blessed. However, I got more content. Then I talk about the different channel and the fact that because Allshank had more had more content, I was very interested in the channel. I did prefer the video about Zelda because I did not know that lore versus Elden Ring that I knew the lore. I didn't say that, but this is where I was going. So I was more interested in that because after 4 playthroughs, I was like, dude, I know the lore, right? I know the lore. So then we did that, and then I was talking about, yeah, we had the content. So yes, a lot is better when I talk about the 6th video, and this is where I'm going, right? Insanity, Method of Madness, right? Method of Madness is, there was 6 videos on that channel. I could have watched 6 videos. Shanks at 200 and something videos. Am I gonna watch 200 videos about Elden Ring? Yes. Is everybody gonna watch 200 videos? No, right? So it's more consumable to have 6 videos, right? But then when you go to the store, when you go to the restaurant, when you go to everywhere, you want a bigger portion. You want more for your buck, right? Doesn't matter the quality. You want more for your buck. And that's everything. That's in everything, right? Did you know that Moby Dick was 24 hours? If you were to listen to a audiobook of Moby Dick, it's 24 hours. Did you know that J.R.R. Tolkien, The Hobbits, which was 3 movie, was an hour and a half book? Did you know that the 3 Lord of the Ring books are 30 hours? Yeah. And now that you're saying ink, you're pulling numbers out of your arse. I don't know why you're taking a British accent with me, but hey, kind of dig it. Hey, kind of dig it. So I'm going to show you, because I know that this is, and I like spreading a little parchment, little bits, itty bitty of, I like spreading itty bitty of truth or proof, which is what? Which is, okay, it's a Lord of the Ring audiobook. So you're going to be looking for a thumbnail with an elephant, because that's the one, right? So the thumbnail with the elephant happens to be, you know what we did? We made a mistake. You're just gonna put full in front of audiobook. I'm gonna be hoping to find it. Complete Lord of the Ring audiobook. This is my last try, because otherwise look it out for copyright. Do I care? I got the file. I got the file, yes. I thought I do. It's kinda cool. But it's basically 30 hours. Perfect. Now we deserve a little bit of a treat. Oh, what is a treat, Inc? What do you have in store? Well, you possibly guessed it, but yikes. Oh my god, the moustiquaire, the insect screen, right here. You see it with the white, right here. Na zdrowia. 2 more. Ooh. Delicious. Could have been more in the freezer. Nice. So, you realize that you want more, right? When it comes to content, you realize that you don't really care about content. You don't really care. For example, and this is pretty simple. This is pretty logical. This is in nature, a human being. This is extremely normal, right? So what you notice is that all you cared about was getting enough content, right? So you planned this. Okay, now we got a 2 hours video. I'm watching this mukbang. It's 2 hours long. And you don't believe this is actually a video that I want to shout out. The person didn't shout out now, but still, Nicocado, avocado. And this is one of the best example, which is Dairy Queen. This is actually going to be super cool as to talk about. That was not a plan of tonight, but it's kind of cool. So I hope you still have the video, please. There you go. It is my first time trying Dairy Queen Blizzard. It's a 2 hours and a half video. And I gotta say, Nikki was a professional. Freaky Nikki. Oh no, that's the wrong movie. Or wrong media, Inc. Yeah, Nikki was pretty good at telling stories at ADHD. And you realize that, my apologies. You realize that it's kind of cool because it's kind of cool because, and this is going to be important as a discussion. My apologies for society. Actually, you understand that he's talking a lot. You understand that he has a lot of long videos, right? And then you realize that okay, for 2 hours and a half, it's actually interesting, but it is an investment of time. So if I was to want to watch a video, I'm either going to finish it tonight or I'm going to be watching it in one go, which I was watching at work. Right, depending on what content you have. Right now, the TikTok generation, which I love you guys, but there's a lack of what is it? There's a lack of well, there's sort of like a loss of attention because we live such a busy lifestyle, right? Right, and I'm suffering from that too. I was watching a movie which was yesterday. It was the Las Vegas Gambit, which was a good movie but was slow paced. And because it was slow pace, I was like, okay, well, this is a long movie. I was watching 2 days ago Lars and the Real Girl, which is a movie with Ryan Gosling, which is an hour and a half, and it was a problem with the pacing. But you create the characters, so the pacing has to be slow. But I still felt like the movie was too long. I was losing interest. I was losing attention. My apologies, because it wasn't moving enough. My apologies. So then, when you consume content, you realize that certain type of content has different meaning, right? Example, I'm going to be watching a podcast, right? I'm going to be watching GRE Experience, which is almost everything is 3 hours. I'm going to be watching Bad Friend, which is an hour and a half. And I'm going to be watching, what is an hour? My apologies. Last weekend with Two on, and it's 2 hours, right? So these are some of the most popular podcasts, and they're all long lasting. So then you realize, okay, well, since it's audio, since I can do something else in the background, I can clean, I can do the dishes, I can work, I can write, I don't jerk off, I don't know what you do for 3 hours. And if you're jerking off for 3 hours, not healthy. I don't know if it's healthy. Did I ever jerk off for 3 hours? I must have reached that when I was younger. Maybe not 3 hours, but pretty close. I wonder what's my high score. You know what I didn't notice before that? I always thought that the sort of, how can I put this, texture here to be different. I also thought it was like just a matter of design. What if it was the bubble inside? That would be pretty cool, right? My apologies. My body is excluding the gas that I just drank, and I'm going to drink some more, which will give me more gas and it will make me burp. See, I love that people, and again, small rant. I hope you guys don't mind, of course. My apologies. I love that you guys. My apologies. I love that you guys see me drinking a soda, right? And I don't know where you're from. I don't know who you are. I don't know how old you are, but I'm pretty sure that you drank a soda in your life, right? And I know that we understand that sodas will make you burp. And I know that we understand that, yeah, this is natural occurrence. Soda makes you burp. Soda contain carbohydrates or what? Not carbohydrates. It's I don't know what it is. CO2. I don't know what that is. They say carbon dioxide. No, that's not it. I don't know what it is, but you know there's CO2, right? Which is a gas. So you know that by drinking soda, the person might burp. And like, oh my god, he's burping. Yeah, no shit, he had a soda, bro. What do you expect, right? So going back, when you watch the podcast, you are more willing to invest time because you know the podcast, ultimately speaking, will take more time. There's also shorter podcasts, but they're not popular. Have you ever seen a 15 minutes podcast? Have you ever seen a 20 minutes podcast? Have you ever seen a short as a form of podcast? No, right? No, they don't exist or not popular, right? Let's do the scholarship. Let's do the exploration for fun. Cause I'm dying to let you know that I'm better off on my own. So I'm gonna go on YouTube. We're gonna go with short podcasts, right? Okay, Life is Short with Bryce Crawford. I did 3,000 views at 30 minutes, which I gotta say, pretty impressive. Because you see, most of them are more than that, right? Most of them are more than that, right? And if you got smaller, they're parts of podcasts. I don't think is necessarily. I don't think it's necessarily. I'm gonna put this. Not interesting, but it's the whole purpose of. I need to do again. It is the whole purpose of, can I make a short podcast? Can it work, right? So when you're doing clips, you know that people are more likely to watch clips. But even if a clip of a podcast, and this is insane, a clip of a podcast is what? I have to find one example. Well, 7 minutes. It's not that bad. But I want to go back to Bryce Crawford, which is this guy. I don't know him, never watched him, but never watched him, don't know him, but it's brilliant. Because why? Because what he does is, with the way he calls his podcast Life is Short. We explain that's why the podcasts are short, right? So you're creating a proof of concept, but you're also creating the concept yourself, right? So for example, you would create this proof of concept. One of my favorite movie about proof of concept is what? The Founder. The Founder is two brothers. It's basically the story of McDonald's, right? It's two brothers that had a concept, right? Had a business. This guy, this investor, this mogul, he came in for the proof of concept. He took it the next level, which is he made it. So the whole movie is, you clearly see the two brothers, and you clearly understand that this was their idea, this was their technique, this was their like. If you want to talk about it, it's line cook, right? But you can compare line cook to factory line. You can compare factory line to production line. When you go to a fast food, you see there's a guy for station. There's a guy at the fry station, there's a guy at the burger station, there's a guy at the grill station, there's a guy at the window, which will wrap burgers. Which is kind of hard because, you have to do it fast. Second of all, you have to do it without crease. Third of all, the more you manipulate the burger, the more it shows. Like, when you buy a burger, when you go to the store and you get a burger, it's never squished. That's why McDonald's, they took it out. When you eat at McDonald's, most of the time, it's going to be a cardboard box. And that's where your burger is. They don't wrap it up in paper anymore. If you go to Burger King, if you go to Arby's, if you go to Wendy's, they still do it, right? So, with the Founder, through the proof of concept of a fast food, which is great quality, and part of the movie, why the Founder was so good, is, I'm going to say the stupidest example, but there was this guy who played Ron Swanson in Park and Rec, which is a great actor, and he plays one of the brothers, right? And he plays this scene where there is fries, and fries are, he said, okay, well, he said to his brother, he said, the level of crisp, my apologies, it's not enough, it's a bit soggy. I think we should increase it to 3.5 seconds in the boiling, the frying oil. So then you realize that it's a system of guaranteed consistency because you're following every single line. Your oil is always the same temperature, your fries are always the same size, and because your fries are the same size, it always take the same time to cook. And because your oil is at the same temperature, then the temperature will always be the same, right? That's why people, okay, when they do a steak, which is another example, they do a steak, they'll plant a stick with a thermometer on top, and they'll show you like, okay, well, this is the temperature.
With this temperature, you know that, okay, well, this temperature equates to rare, this medium rare, this well done, and this overdone, right? So you know that your temperature. This is important when you do, for example, the beef Wellington, because part of the beef Wellington, you have this folded dough. I don't know what you call it. It's like paper dough, right? Which is very almost like a croissant, if you will, right? You have your garnish, which is basically I know it's mushroom. There's something else. There's mustard, and then you have your steaks, right? If you open to see if your steak is cooked, then you're letting all the juice out and all the flavor out, and you're letting all the heat out, right? So you have to present it to your customer, right? But you have to present it to your customer in a sense where you just cut it in front of them, or it's freshly cut, right? That way you don't don't have to worry. So what you do is you take a thermometers and you put it there. What changed? That's cool. That's a good question. Well, see, it's different elements, right? So when you do a Wellington, beef Wellington, right? There's three main elements. There's the pastry dough. That's what I'm looking for. There's a pastry dough. There's a mushroom garnish. There's the meat, right? The mushroom garnish can have a temperature. The pastry dough can have a temperature. The meat can have a temperature. So you know that, okay, well, if the temperature that I have on the thermometer stuff is the three together, right? And then you can actually go, I don't know how it works. I don't know if it only analyzes the temperature at the tip of the thermostat or at the whole rod. I'm not sure how it works, but it has to work in specific ways where you can choose what are you looking for, what temperature you're looking for, right? And there you go. And then you put it to the table, and then it's fresh, it's juicy, and like, oh my god, the cook is perfect. The cook on that is perfect. So how can you have consistency there? Well, you have to check your temperature. You have to do a bit of science, a bit of math, right? So the founder, that's what it was. I'm gonna be watching that tonight. It's a great movie. And then the founder, they have a proof of concept. They were geniuses. They created this business, and then the whole movie is kind of morally ambiguous because there's this guy who comes in, who's an investor, and he kind of steal a company from the two brothers, and he kind of is in a position of, well, I'm going to popularize it, and I'm going to make sure that it's worldwide, right? Then like, okay, well, he stole the proof of concept from somebody else, but at the same time, if it wasn't for the proof of concept, then the restaurant wouldn't have franchise. So you made it more popular, and who's winning when it's more popular? The customer. So on a moral level, who lost? The creator. On a moral level, who gained? The customer. What's more important, the customer or the creator? The creator, because the creator will create something and the consumer has a choice to eat it or not, right? The creator will create whatever, whenever. There was this movie called Father of Invention, which is Kevin Spacey, which is a guy that takes a couple of invention and put them together, right? Why am I so obsessed with movies? Because lately we've been watching a lot of movies, so as a form of social study and as a form of, well, technically speaking, social study is going out in the world talking to people, but when you watch a movie, when you watch a video, you understand as a creative thought process. You understand that there's editing. There's understand that there's a production team. They all watched the movie. They all thought that was good. So if they all thought that was good, there's a chance that more than one person agrees with that vision or agrees with what's being shown, right? And because more than one person is agreeing with something that is shown, you can actually call it social study. Because you're in society, you're in a group of people, which is social, right? There you go. When you're a social, it's more than one person. You count. You can have a one-on-one conversation that's still social because it's two people talking. Yourself, somebody else. You can have in your head social studies. You can you can talk to yourself, right? And you can have conflicting thoughts, right? And as long as you have conflicting thoughts, you have adversity. And adversity brings improvement, or I don't know, but you know what I mean, right? So proof of concept is important, right? And that's what I'm trying to say with the content, right? So the proof of concept, which is we're going all the way just to show something. This guy showed the proof of concept, which was a short podcast, and he also made a content. You can come up with the content, you can come up with the ID. I mean, he's gonna do it better. We got this guy, French Canadian. I'm not gonna say his name. And you know what? Fuck it. Olivier Primo. I think he's a great businessman. I think he's a smart dude. Olivier Primo is a good guy, right? He seemed cool. He seemed fun. But he is being hailed as the businessman of Montreal, the future of businessmen. as one of the mogul of Quebec, right? But how he got popular was poutine review. Poutine is a national meal here, traditional. And when you look at it, like, oh my god, the content is so good. But the second you step away from Quebec, from French culture, you see Dave Portnoy. Do I like Dave? I think he has some good takes. I think he has some bad takes. I think he's a likable guy. Doesn't mean that you like him. A very in the middle. Malcolm in the middle. Life is still unfair now. Life is unfair. Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now, and you're not so fair. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now, and you're not so fair. Life is unfair. Great lyrics. You know it was in the 90s because the style of music, but them lyrics, bro. Whew. Not the most creative thing that I've ever heard. But hey, if it works, it works, right? So, yeah. So when you watch Dave Portnoy videos and when you watch Olivier Primo, there's a really big similarities, right? Now, ultimately speaking, Dave Portnoy is not the first one to do it. There was this whole debate. I was watching this debate with Ludwig, right? And they talk about Kaizenat, and they talk about how he revolutionized the world of streaming. So he was doing Mafiathon, he was doing Subathon. I know I'm going places, but please, if you follow it will make sense, and you'll have fun. What's the worst that can happen, right? You get confused every single day, right? So they were talking about how Ludwig was the inventor of Subathon, and people did it before. People did it before Ludwig. Ludwig did it, right? He did it very popular, very successful. Because it was very popular, very successful, what ended up happening was some people did it right. So Kai right now is doing the biggest Mafiathon, is doing the biggest Subathon. But that doesn't mean that he came up with the concept, right? So is the proof of concept important or the execution of concept is important? The execution of concept is important. Why? Because the proof of concept can be the greatest concept, but doesn't mean that it works, right? It doesn't mean that it's well executed. When it takes a concept and revolutionize it is important. We got the story about the founder, right? The founder who took a concept, made it super popular, right? Without the first concept being invented, there's no popularity. But without being able to use properly the concept that's being created, there's nothing, right? So who created it? We don't know. Who popularized it, right? Ludwig, Kai, then in 10 years should be somebody else, right? And they will be seen as the inventor of the baton, right? But before that, Ludwig had to run for Kai to walk, and Kai will have to run for the next person to do it, right? One of the that's revolutionizing thing is possibly Speed, because Speed is doing IRL, but he's doing it as a global settings, which is insane. Nobody is doing what he's doing, and nobody will do what he's doing because it takes a lot, right? And then you had people like FusiTube, where you can think like the crash out artist, which is the same birthday. Do I like Fusi? No. To me, Fusi is this good dude that has been getting so many chances, but has burned so many bridges. So if you want to see if somebody is a good person or not, am I saying that he's a bad person? No. My intent think that he's a bad person? No. Am I saying it's a bit weird that every single collaboration, every single bond that you made, every single bill that you bridge, every single bridge that you build is burned? Am I saying that because you were the only person that was in every situation, it's a bit sus? Maybe. Right? Look how they treat people, but look how much relation they have. Their friendship, are they long-lasting or not short-lasting? I'm a bad person. Why? Because most of my friends, well, what friends? But you know what I mean, right? Most of my friends, they haven't been there for long. We don't talk about daily basic, right? We're talking about the daily basic. Would I still be friends with them? No, they would be like, this guy's freaking insane. That's okay, dude. That's okay. You can make your bed in it, but you have to lie in it. So if you made a poor bed with freaking nails inside, it's your choice, right? You have to lay in it. So all this is the same. Right, this guy with a short podcast. Oh, this is say way back. the guy with the short podcast created proof of concept, right? Oh no, sorry, I was talking about Fusi too. I lost myself. So Fusi did sort of revisionize it. Nice stream, very nice usage of the lungs. He revolutionized it because he was doing 24 hours. So he did a month long, which was 24 hours every single day for a month. He ended up in jail, he ended up crashing out, right? So it was a mess, but he still did something that nobody else did, right? Was he the inventor of that? No. Somebody did it before him, they were just not popular. They weren't known. Because they weren't known, it's like this classic saying, which is not classic, it's internet saying, but still. If there's no picture, it didn't happen. If it's not on the gram, it didn't happen, right? Which is, I mean, it's dumb, but hey, this people see things. It's how people see things, right? Come back to the podcast, right? Which all of this is for one subject, which is we missed the boat. We missed the boat entirely. So all of this to say, okay, well, this guy came up with a concept with a short podcast. He was able to sell it really well, which is Life is Short, which explains why he doesn't have the biggest podcast, the longest podcast, right? Possibly, the guy possibly has nothing to say, and that's okay. That's okay. You can be a man of so little words, but big deeds, and you can be a man of so many words but small deeds, right? That's just the way we view things, right? And with the proof of concept, he's doing it. But he was able to do the proof of concept. He was able to come up with a sell point, which is kind of like the founder. And he was able to sell it because he's getting views. He got 83,000 views, right? Now, does this mean that it will work with everybody? No. Does this mean that it will work forever? No. But it's a cool thing to create, right? It's a cool thing that you see, right? So all of this to say, which is like almost an hour ago, we said that. Not an hour. We've been filming for, my apologies, 45 minutes. Maybe 30 minutes ago. Maybe 32. I'm beginning a bit old. My back is hurting. I don't know about you, but I could use a nap. After all, I'm 32. I got an old ball sack. I have to put in ball sack that way. You guys laugh because you guys laugh. You think that song is funny. Because you think that song is funny. I can do whatever I want and it's still endearing, right? So I was talking about time, right? So you're willing and you're conceptualizing the fact that I'm gonna do something. It's gonna take me this amount of time, right? And this is what's gonna be happening, right? When I was at work, and this is a true story. When I was working at PCT, right? I was doing 8 hours, right? And it was a great job, but as I mentioned, there was time I was feeling alone. Possibly in here, the problem, but it was more so like, okay, well, these guys are speaking a different language, and even though they are more than willing to accept me, to welcome me, to share a conversation, I don't want to be the guy that always says, hey, what are you talking about? If I'm involved, involve me, I don't mind, but if I'm not involved, I'm not going to impose myself in a conversation, right? I'm working with people that have been working together for 10 years. I'm like, hey, I'm part of the family. No, you've been working for a month. We like you, yes, but we're having a discussion about, hey, remember 7 years ago when this happened? And we've all been there. We've all been to a place where somebody tells you an insight. Somebody tells you something that happened 5 years ago, which is a funny story. But you hear the story, it's like, it's not that funny. Because you weren't there, right? So it happens. So all of this to say, I was listening to I was listening to music, but then I found a problem. I was listening to 8 hours of music, 40 hours a week. I was like, dude, this worked for a month, this worked for 2 months. Why? Because back then I spent a year without work, which meant that I spent a year without listening to music, right? Oh, by the way, at that time, Motionless in White, fun fact, crazy fact, Motionless in White released Disguised, right? And the job that I had before that, they released Graveyard Shift. So every time that I had a new job, they released an album, which was fantastic. Disguised was much better. I don't know. Graveyard Shift was really good when it came out, right? And there were some bangers on it for sure. But then you realize that some of the songs you still listen to on a daily basis, but they weren't great. Versus Disguise, which is fantastic. So if you look at Graveyard Shift, you look at Queen for Queen, Necessarily Evil. You look at Tots for Tots. You think about Soft. You think about Hourglass. You think about, I got Hourglass tattoo here. Fun fact. Yeah. True story. I'm gonna show you. Show you my tits. This is what you pay for. I walk the whole world, drowning in chemicals, dissociatives, but it has this all. Will I survive? Or I fade to black, and I painted black, and I feel myself as I fall away, and a cold, deluded sense of fate. When a nightmare comes and a down sets in, will the fever break, or will I break from within? Too late to feel I've lost my breath, with the hands of time around my neck. Am I more than the pen that rolled the past, or am I just a sand encased in the hourglass? But when you look at it, that's it. There's songs like Rats, which I didn't like. There's songs like, so you realize that you watch the album and you're like, okay, well, there's some absolute bangers. Oh, one of it is, cause everywhere that I go, every step that I own, every step in the road, I'm unstoppable. You cannot ignore the prices we pay, but I have the right to my own shame, to reap what you sow. We don't bleed the same. Ah. Great song. But then you watch this guys, and then you realize that this guys, there's not great banger like Hourglass. But every single song is good. So you think about this guys, Touch and Smokes. I used to know that shit. Heartache is amazing. Code New Numb, which is fantastic. Reincarnate. What was just great. Emotional Life was great, but it wasn't Falling Reverse. Falling Reverse was possibly the band that changed me the most, or the band that affected me the most because of State of Mind, which was Depression. But yeah, so fun fact with that, music was I was listening to a lot, and because I was listening to music a lot, I was able to enjoy a new album versus when I was done with PCT, or when I was at the end, 6 years in. And this is very important because this is exactly what we're explaining since the beginning. Right? Which is all of this to say that all of this, which is the last hour and a half, it take me another hour to explain because I talk a lot. My bad. All this to say, yesterday we had 7 hours of content. Yes, all of this to say, yesterday we had 7 hours of content, which is 5 hours of content. But it was nice. It lasts for 4 hours. So 4 hours times 7 is 28. 28 divided by 1.5 is how much? It's 15, which is 10.5, which is 22.5. You got 20, which is about 30. So it's somewhere around 18 or 19. 18 is how much? Yeah, 18 is good. 18 is good. It would be 18 and 40 minutes. 18 hours, 40 minutes. Because you do 18 times 1.5, which is 27. And you do 40 times 1.5, which is 60. Which gives you another hour. So you do 7 hours, 27 hours plus 1 hour, 28. So it's 18.5. No, 18.4. Which is 4 out of 6, which is basically 6. It's 18.666, the number of the devil. Not true. People dislike Julius Caesar so much, they call him the beast, and the number of the beast was 666 for Julius Caesar. So you think it's diabolical, you think it's evil, but it's not, right? Which is funny. To me, that's funny, because it's misinformation, and it's the whole talk this morning about the truth is relative, right? I forgot to talk about the most important part, which is the Mandela effect. Mandela effect is a common belief. For example, Pikachu was a good example. Everybody has, this is actually very interesting. Everybody has this recollection of how Pikachu tail was, but then when you look at the picture, it wasn't. So like, how does everybody remember it wrong? How does everybody remember it like different? And then you realize that it's possibly timelines, right? So we switch timelines, and because we switch timelines, a common memory, right, is not real. So in this first timeline, and this is all make believe, this is not true, this is all fictional, right? But the common belief of the Mandela effect is we started in a timeline. In that timeline, we had this version of Pikachu, right? And then something happened which changed the timeline. And then in this current timeline that we are right now, it is the wrong Pikachu. So this common knowledge was replaced by the different timeline, and that's important. That's a realization that we're all living. And then the truth is, or not the truth, but my true belief is that we all died at some point, and we're living in a parallel existence, or timeline, or universe, where something changed and we just are in a different place, which is kind of cool, which is very cool, very, very cool. Because if you believe in that, you believe in there's endless possibility. So that we all died, not cool. And that there's endless possibility, very cool. So all of this to say, like I said, can I stop talking tonight? Very valuable, very talkative, which is good. We like that or not? I don't know. I don't give a fuck if we like it or not. So all this to say, yeah, 18 hours and 18 hours and 40 minutes, right? If I stream that for a week, how much is that per day? How much is that per day? 18 hours and 40 and 40 divided by 7 gives me about it's about 214. 3 is 21. Can you do some for me? So it's 2 point something, which means that I only have to stream for 2 hours per day to get the content that I need, right? But that's not enough. Oh my god, it's so dumb. It's 240. Yeah, because 240 is, oh my god, that's so stupid. That is so dumb. 240 1.5 is 4, because you do 2 and 1.5, which is 3, right? And you do 40 and you do 1.5, which is 20. You do 4 hours per day. That's what you get. So you get 2 hours and 40 per day. If I stream more than that, we are in a deficit, which means that I have recorded less than what we have, right? So I recorded 7 hours yesterday, which is, I was talking about the schedule, all this for that, and how important it was, because yesterday I was blessed with that. I was explaining why I was blessed, which is not true. Not blessed if you have like 7 hours. It's not a blessing from God itself, but it's fun, because if I was to stream more than 2 hours and a half, I would have enough content to be entertained or be entertaining. Because when you're entertaining. When you're bored, you are boring. You're right. Good. So you do all of this. It's actually quite fun. See what I was talking about? We've been here for an hour. We got to see the sunset completely. It was boring, but hey, it is what it is, right? So yeah, so as I mentioned, what was I? Oh yeah. So when you look at PCT, which is the company that I worked for 8 years, it's perfect. At first, music was enough, right? But no, I was watching 80 hours of music per day, per weeks. No, I was watching 40 hours because I was then doing times 2. Then I was like, okay, well, I'm tired of always changing. This is beautiful, because this is such experience, and it shows you how much life teaches you, right? I got bit in my mosquito, bro. Shit, I hate that. So I was watching music. I was like, okay, well, this is not enough. Then I was watching podcasts. The problem with podcasts was what? I was watching podcasts are like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I was doing 8 hours per day. I was doing time 2 the speed. So I was watching about 8 podcasts per day I was watching 40 podcasts per week. I don't know how many podcasts you're following, but to keep a 40 per week, that's a lot. That's intense. And you just don't make it. So like, okay, well, the worst thing is I had some podcasts I was listening to. What were they? I don't remember. I know it was Impulsive. I was young and dumb. I know there was No Jumper. I know there was H3H3. I remember there was another one, which was I think I was watching Bald Move, which is a podcast about like Walking Dead. So they were doing recap of shows, which was great. But by then, I had a problem. I was watching them when I was working at Subway Tech, which is a place where you used to receive from different countries furniture and just sell it as not as Canadian, but you would sell it in Canadian stores, which is your markup, right? So yes, I was working there and I was watching Ball Move. So when I started with Ball Move, I was listening Walking Dead for a year and a half. They didn't make any new content because they stopped watching Walking Dead, and when I restarted, I was watching Walking Dead. Long story short, I am watching 80 hours a week, which is far too much. I switched to something else, which is audiobook. And then with audiobook, there's a fantastic thing that happened. I am listening to 20 hours of audiobook, and I realized that that's too much. That is too much, right? Podcast. I was talking about podcasts. Yes, podcasts. It was always the same people. For example, I remember what I was watching. It was Mark Maron. What the fuck? I don't remember what it was exactly. I know it's Mark Aaron. This is the one I was watching. I remember. Yeah, I remember now. Yes, that's the one. That's the one I was watching. That's the one I was listening. And that's the one you could listen. Mark Aaron. What the fuck? I'm screaming, what the hell? All my life. What the fuck with Mark Maron? Yeah, 9 years ago. That's the one. Yeah. It was good. Don't get me wrong. It was really good. But then, so it sucks. Why? Podcast was something that was popular, or sort of popular. Like, for example, Cherry Park Boys, I was listening to a lot of that. It was kind of popular in 2016, 2017. Because when I came to the apartment, it was not popular. And then, what happened was, we got the pandemic, and then everybody and their mom was doing a podcast. So then you had the birth of Tiger Belly, of Bad Friends, of Whiskey and Ginger, of Past Weekend with Theo Vaughn, what was it, the one with Andrew Schultz? No, not Andrew Schultz. Well, I think so, yes. I don't remember what it was. And that was cool too. Since I had a lot of new ones. But all this to say, I stopped listening to podcasts because of Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey, very nice screaming. The same person. You got some lungs on you, girl. You got some lungs on you, girl. Matthew McConaughey was the one. Why? Because he was doing a press conference tour. So he was doing a podcast, he was doing a podcast, he was doing a podcast, he was doing a podcast. And 4 podcasts that I watched had a same guest, which was Matthew McConaughey. And I remember, this is my fault though. I remember one day watching 4 podcasts, different podcasts in a row, with the same guest, which was Matthew McConaughey. And some of the questions were the same. So I was like, oh, fuck that. So I started watching audiobooks. Audiobook was great, but bad. So audiobook was great. Junior, so I started watching audiobooks, which was good. I remember listening to Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. I was listening to an audiobook, Fight Club, A View for Vendetta, American Psycho, which was really good. My apologies. Again, Junior came. Junior was a good dude. A brother to me. A brother. But Junior was also... not as accepted as I was. He wasn't very accepted. He wasn't very included as much as I was. So he didn't have a lot of friends there because they didn't give him a chance. He was a good dude too. So Junior felt lonely because he wasn't listening to music like I was. And he would come to talk to me. And then when Junior came to talk to me, he would talk to me for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And sometimes it wasn't automatic to close the music. So I'm listening to an audiobook and I miss 20 minutes. Like, ugh. So then what I started doing is I found Kid Boga. I found Nicolas Avocado. So I'm talking about, this is very cool. This is very, very cool. When you talk about podcasts, right? Podcasts? If there's a guest, you gotta remember what the guest was talking about. But with myself, which is kind of weird thinking that Nicolas Avocado kind of influenced me and the type of content I make, because that's insane to believe, to think about, but it's the truth. Nicolas Avocado was great about him was my podcast, my live is starting. Not my live, but the live that I've been listening to on a daily basis. Sorry, which is what I was talking about for 7 hours.
So you want GC? Why are we getting blessed with this? Well, let me tell you.
I got neighbors, bro. Wake me up. There you go, perfect. The guy started at 9 o'clock, but he's been starting earlier, usually. He's been starting, usually. he's been starting earlier lately. Holy shit, me and Sebasat, we've been friends for 4 years. Holy shit, dude. Insane.
Je sais pas quoi te dire, man.
Qu'est-ce que t'en penses, Zach?
Je pense que je le ferai pas de même.
He just started.
Parce que Big aussi,
Okay. What you do is this. Come on, give me a PIP, dude. Give me a PIP, dude. You don't give me the PIP, dude. Picture in picture. Picture in picture is the one I want. You can clearly see that I got bitten. There's some poison, there's some saliva. I don't mind getting bitten by Hero as much because now I know that there is baby being born. What? I'm just gonna do the light. Yeah, so Nikocado was great for that. It's working. The picture's not perfect, but I don't care. As long as it's working, as long as I can hear it, we're good. So Nick was great for that. Nick was really good for that. Nick, what he was doing is, he was doing videos in a way where you talk about A, B, C, and D, and E, and it was like 2 hours, an hour and a half. So you remember that he talked about A, B, and C, but you don't remember exactly what he said. For example, this video, you could watch it 2 times because there's so many things that we talked about. Just so weird the way we do it, right? Saliva. So, no storage. Elle s'appelait Jim. And we're back for the last video of the day. On va prendre ton autorité. So, we have to check for... I have to check for... Can you use the camera? Okay, no problem. Cancel. I have to check TikTok Live, YouTube Studio. YouTube Studio. Switch account. For fuck's sakes, dude. Okay, good.